All right, time to preview the best games. Well, OU Michigan's the best game, but the other good games of week 2 of college football. Ted, let's start in Ames, Iowa, where Iowa travels to take on number 16 Iowa State. This will be big noon kickoff, so 11 a.m. Central on Fox. Currently, the Cyclones are a 3.5 point favorite, and all eyes are on Mark Gronowski in this one because Iowa fans were very excited to see their new toy at quarterback. In the opener, they were they were sold. Hey, passing game's gonna open up, baby. Here we come. And he was 8 of 15 for 44 yards and a touchdown against Albany.
Yeah, at some point you got to kind of start to wonder, uh, is this just an inherent problem that we have with the passing game at Iowa?
You just show up to Iowa and you can't throw the ball anymore.
50% is the number. Just get to
Dude, because he
50%.
was an awesome quarterback. Like he can throw. I've seen plenty of clips of him ripping it down the field.
I don't know. It's strange because I actually really like their offense. You
I love their
know,
run game. Their run game is how often do I send you clips of Iowa's run game?
often
Too often.
they've got some great schemes. They're good at it. I don't know. I'm surprised that they can't turn that into a passing game that complements it. It's strange.
Well, maybe this is the week. Now, not to criticize the offense too much, Iowa did rush for 310 yards in their
Right.
opener.
Yeah.
They have, without a doubt, my favorite run game in college football because it's the most NFL style run game
Yep.
and ton of outside zone. You know how me and outside zone go. I mean,
That
it's just
offensive line moves really well.
they run off the rock. That's why I like watching it. It's really entertaining for me to watch. But when you look at the Cyhawk matchup here, Ted, there are going to be some defense played. That's for
Yep.
sure.
As this game has, I guess most people are used to it by now. We've got a lot of low scores, and I don't think this one's going to be much different. I mean, 10-7, 14-10. Any of those results would not surprise me at all.
I One of the things I like about this matchup is defensively both really good units. And they have been for a long time now, but they're completely different styles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it really interesting for me. And I do think whichever quarterback has the bigger day, that could be the difference in the game. Because I think the battle at the line of scrimmage is going to be pretty even. And I could see Iowa State struggling to run it consistently
Mm-hmm.
against this Iowa defense, which means, hey, Rocco Beck's he's got to make some plays in the passing game.
Gonna have to, and he'll probably have to make some plays in the passing game, throwing it and running it. I think it's probably going to be difficult for Iowa State to sit there and get 5-7 yards to carry in the running game. They're going to have to get creative, kind of hit them where they're not, and Rocco Beck used some athleticism on third downs to pick up, some of those situations, move the chains with 7-10 yard scrambles whenever he gets an opportunity.
It feels like the only thing that's guaranteed in this one is that it's going to be a close game.
Oh yeah. I mean,
That hook, the -3.5, that hook is staring me right in the face, Ted.
like 3.5 feels like a huge number in this game.
Doesn't it? And this is, I'll just tell you, I'm taking the points with Iowa. I expect Gronowski to be better than what he displayed in the opener. I think maybe he's a little nervous. He had some strange throws early in that game. But while Iowa State's won 2 out of the last 3, and this blew my mind, they have not won in Ames since 2011. You
Really?
heard me.
Huh.
2011 is the last time they won in Ames.
Wow.
So I'm sure Matt Campbell and that football team are ready to break that streak. But the bottom line is, like, even though Iowa State has got the best out of them in the last couple, two of the last three, Iowa has dominated this series. And remember, the talking point was, when is Matt Campbell finally going to beat Iowa?
Right.
Now it's, when is he going to beat them? When they're at home, you know?
Even their
So
best years, even Iowa State's best years, and Iowa was just kind of, not just kind of cruising along, not great, but solid. They still couldn't break through. And Iowa has somehow been able to force them, even in their best years, to play, just kind of ugly football against them.
this, these two offenses in the same game, it may be like the most NFL style offense you will find in a college football game together.
Yeah.
Tight ends, fullbacks,
Dude. I mean,
snapping the ball under center, play action pass. It's going to be beautiful.
you probably have between 8 and 10 tight ends make an appearance in this football game.
I can't wait. Who do you like in it? I once again, I think it's going to be a really, really close game. I think they're pretty evenly matched teams. I do think you probably give the edge at quarterback to Iowa State, but I love Iowa's like attacking style, aggressive defense. I'm taking the points with Iowa. If you're giving me that hook, like give me the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, I haven't been as impressed with Iowa State. It was a nice win against Kansas State in that week 0 game, and they got it together, looked better in the second half, but their offense hasn't really got going like I thought it was.
That
And
the way that O line struggled, especially early against Kansas State to
yeah,
protect Beck, that's always in the back of your mind, right?
that's right.
When they're
Uh,
playing a team like Iowa.
I I think Iowa gets it done. I don't love that pick, but I mean, I just I feel like they're going to be better on the line of scrimmage, and I'm curious to see how Iowa State, their whole philosophy is we're not going to stuff you with the run. We're just going to, we're going to hold you at bay. We're not going to let you break any, explosives. You're going to have to march all the way down the field on us. We feel like at some point you're going to make a mistake, and I just that doesn't feel like a good game plan against Iowa's offense. I feel like they're kind of set up for that. It's almost like you're trying to force us into what we want to do. So,
Oh, you want us to run the ball for 4.5 yards every play?
right,
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
yeah. So, I mean, if Iowa State can find some explosives in the passing game, I feel like that's going to be their path to victory, and I just don't trust it yet. I'm taking Iowa in like a typical game that we see in this one. I saw the over under. It's a really low one, and I went back and looked at a kind of the recent series. Rarely has it been over a 40 total. So I think
The
it's going to be.
it's actually a massive total for this game, for this matchup traditionally.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd take the under and watch the paint dry and feel like Iowa's going to be able to control it a little bit more. Could be wrong though.
Look at us both liking the Hawkeyes in that one. All right, moving on to the next game. Number 20 Ole Miss will travel to Lexington to take on Kentucky. That is 2:30 on ABC. Ole Miss is currently a 10.5 point road favorite. Ted, remember, Wildcats got them last year. And ultimately, that loss is what kept Ole Miss
Yeah.
out of the college football playoff. Now, there's been a lot of turnover on Ole Miss's roster, but the guys that were there a year ago, like there's going to be a little extra motivation for the guys that were a part of that team. And I'm excited to watch Austin Simmons play. really talented lefty. He put up some big numbers in the opener. He threw two interceptions. One of them he's getting hit. The other one just a really, really bad decision down in the red zone. Throws a pick basically in the end zone. But it was almost startling how fast Ole Miss was going offensively in their opener. So they've got a lot of speed at Simmons' disposal at the skill positions, Ted. And I just don't think Kentucky's going to be able to keep pace with them. No offense to Zach Calzada, but I just don't see him going out there and lighting this Ole Miss defense up, even though this Ole Miss defense has taken quite a step back from the group we saw a year ago with all those guys going to the NFL. But this is going to be an entertaining game to watch. I like Ole Miss big, man. I think it's kind of a statement game for Kiffin and the Rebs.
Yeah, I agree. And the path to victory for Kentucky, I feel like is kind of the same as it was a year ago. They got up on them early. It was an ugly football game. There was all kinds of, just poor play, turnovers, penalties. I feel like that's the path for Kentucky. Now, if they can run the football, like the week one game they had against Toledo, Toledo's a better football team than they're going to get credit for. I think Kentucky's got to run it well, try and control the clock, create some chaos. But I'm with you. It feels like Ole Miss just offense is too strong, too much firepower. Um, but it's still weird because I'm still not sure what we've got in Ole Miss. I don't think they're going to be as good as last year, but I mean, I think their defense isn't going to be there, as you mentioned. I'm just curious, how good can this offense be? And if they struggle and the magic isn't there, I do think there's a path to victory for Kentucky, but give me Ole Miss.
I I think Ole Miss's offense is going to have to put up serious numbers for them to be in any type of contention in the SEC this year.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
they just don't have the same guys, especially like in the front six, front seven that they had last year. Remember when we were doing the prep for OU Ole Miss last year, I was like, hey, dude,
They
they
got
got
some, they were too deep on the
they
D
they got
line,
they got a legit front. And
experienced at backer.
as far as this matchup, just dude, don't the vibes at Kentucky just seem not great ever since the Stoops and A&M thing happened? I don't know. It just I'm not sure things have ever recovered from that whole bizarre situation.
Yeah, it was weird. You had that, and even before that, there was like, this weird conversation about how much money we're spending on basketball and like where are we allocating our resources. And yeah, it's been strange there, but I'll say that I feel like the Kentucky situation is very similar to the Oklahoma State situation with Mike Gundy. All-time winningest coach currently there, very unique jobs, and coaches have kind of been hanging around on the hot seat. It's a dangerous decision, though, to move on from either one of these coaches, because if you don't make the exact right hire, things can go downhill in a hurry. And these programs have had, some really long downturns, and you got to do whatever you can to avoid that. So we're interesting situation.
I think Mark Stoops is being judged by what he's created there in Lexington, which is a good thing. But I really think that the Texas A&M situation, I think that hurt a lot of people in that fan base
Yeah.
and frankly kind of turned them against him because he was and still is their guy. Like
Yeah.
he's the type of coach that I don't know if Kentucky football has any statues out in front of the stadium, but like if they don't, the first one's going to be of Mark Stoops.
Right.
And so I think that really hurts some people around there. And I get that. And Mark Stoops' agent, I still can't. Let's not relitigate that. But what a disaster.
Yeah.
But I think honestly, dude, I just watching Kentucky at the line of scrimmage, not as good as you're used to seeing, especially along the offensive line. I think they got a chance to uh, arguably be the worst team in the SEC this season. And that's kind of vibes based for me. And also, Zach Calzada throwing for 85 yards against Toledo didn't inspire a bunch of confidence. So as far as the Ole Miss Kentucky game, I'm laying them with the Rebels. I think they just got too much firepower for the Wildcats. And the vibes, man, the vibes are just off.
I agree. Was interesting to see an old throwback named Seth McGowan getting some carries for him. What he had like 18, 15, 18 carries, had a touchdown. Um, it's interesting. Kentucky's had some nice years, but it's usually come whenever they've got a couple of elite players. They've had elite running backs. They've had some elite defensive players. They've had really good quarterback play here and there. And I just don't know if they have any of those type of players on that roster right now. So I'm with you. I'm rolling with Ole Miss as well.
We've got two intriguing Big 12 SEC matchups this weekend. Are you more interested in Arizona State at Mississippi State or Kansas at Missouri?
Well, I think the Arizona State Mississippi State one is interesting, but the Kansas Missouri game, like that one's got some heat on it again, doesn't it? People
Yeah,
are
it does.
noticing that one.
Yeah, 2:30 on ESPN2. Missouri's currently a 6.5 point favorite. And if you like entertaining quarterback play, this is the game for you, buddy. I mean, Jalen Daniels and Bo Perbula, like both just wildly entertaining to watch, dual threat guys. And that's why I'm excited to watch this game. There is absolutely, and maybe a ton of college football fans don't realize, like the hatred between Kansas and Missouri that goes back to like American history.
It's flown under the radar for quite a while nationally, but I feel like it's back this season.
I'm really excited to watch this game because Jalen Daniels has looked fantastic in the Jayhawks' first two games. And then Bo Perbula, that dude can run. Like he's an exciting play waiting to happen. And I expect Missouri to be a little sharper than they were against Central Arkansas. And I know that sounds weird because they won 61-6, but they were not crisp in the first half of that game. I think they'll play at a higher level, especially at home in a rivalry game. I Maybe it's my SEC bias, dude. I just think Kansas is going to have a tough time holding up at the line of scrimmage for 4 quarters. I think I'm expecting Missouri, and I'm a big fan of what they do run game wise as well. Like I'm expecting Missouri to kind of lean on them and then mid to late third quarter and fourth quarter create some separation. So I'll lay the 6.5. I like Missouri by a touchdown at home over Kansas.
Um, I I think your pick is the intelligent way to go about it. I think all of the evidence leans in that direction. Um, but I'm going with the better quarterback, and it's one of those. I feel like it's one of those rare opportunities to where the offense struggling and having a hard time doing creating, running the football, protecting the quarterback. It's one of those rare situations where that can work against you. And I think Daniels is going to be able to create, escape some bad situations, and turn them into explosive plays, either running the football or in the passing game. Um, this kind of has a feeling like, whenever you're watching a basketball game and there's two stars on opposing teams and everyone just kind of clears out and it essentially turns into a one-on-one. That's what I feel like this game is going to be. It's Pribula versus Jalen Daniels, and I'm going to go with the more dynamic playmaker. I think Jalen Daniels gets it done. I think it's going to be a fun football game, though.
I I'm going to compliment Missouri here. When OU played there last year, like that was a rowdy atmosphere.
Yeah.
And I think I saw some construction equipment in their end zone against Central Arkansas. I think they're doing some work there
Hard
in
hat area.
Columbia. But and they got a kicker, by the way. Like they got a legit kicker. But which maybe it ends up being Missouri's kicker that decides this football game.
Well, isn't that what happened last year? Didn't he hit like a 60-yarder to
I
win it
think that was a couple of years
a
ago.
couple
Was
of
it
years ago?
like kind of the chunky kicker? His name was like Nevis or something
Yeah.
like that. What a legend. But I just think that Missouri's going to be better at the point of attack. And I feel like Jalen Daniels is going to have to be Superman for them in this game. And this is a guy that's been banged up a lot. So if he's got to be Superman, I worry about Superman's wing getting clipped. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's been hard for him staying healthy.
And Missouri's been preparing for a long time for this game. They probably
Yeah.
weren't laser focused on Central Arkansas, but should be a fun one. Rivalry game. I love that this game is back, man. This is what we want as college football fans.
Yeah, I agree. I I this is one of those games where you feel like there's going to be a lot of talk in between the whistles. If Kansas like is able to get it done on the road, I it's what careful jogging back to the locker room. Yeah, I don't know. It could be a lot of stuff between the whistles that's going to make this one really interesting. I don't know though. I think Missouri is the better all around football team, but I don't know. Whatever for whatever reason, I feel like Jalen Daniels is going to be able to sneak in there, do something special on a couple of plays, and get out of there with a win somehow.
We love our guy Lance Leipold. Just I all I really want is an entertaining game.
Yeah,
That's all
I
I'm looking for.
think it's going to be that no matter what.